Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
For the brothers of Great Millstone, Charlotte, coming at you again with another live lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And before we get started with this lesson, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Racha HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who taught us this truth and rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim out there pushing his word throughout the four corners of the earth, the house of David, Habayat Dawadah, and to the rest of the elect, we say Shalom.
Shalom.
The title of this lesson will be pretty much I just named it. All right. And as you can see here in this article, I got this from naturalnews.com. I'm going to read a little bit into it. It says America's fourth leading cause of death is abortion at the hands of Planned Parenthood. Now, when you do more research into this Planned Parenthood thing, we know that Esau created this to wipe out a lot of you Jakes. It was really targeted, to kill Jake children, right? To limit the amount of Jakes being born here in America. Because, Esau likes to do his census, right? And likes to say that, pretty much the majority of the people or the majority is Edom, the majority are Edomites and the minority are you so-called blacks and Hispanics. But really, when you look into the real numbers, Esau understands that Jake talking about you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, really y'all are the majority. When you combine both Northern and Southern Kingdom, y'all really make up the majority of people here in America. And Esau is getting afraid, so he's trying to cut down those numbers, right?
I get a precept.
Khan, you got it, Doc.
This is Hawashah, Hosea chapter 1 and verse 10. It says, "Yet the number of the children of Yasha'Allah shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered, and it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, Ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, Ye are the sons of the living power." Now this is in the land, chiefly in America, you see. But it says that as the sand of the sea. The scriptures also say that the nation of Yasha'Allah is likened to the dust of the earth. I got this real fast. This is Bara'ash of Genesis, chapter 13 and verse 16. It says, "And I will make thy seed as the dust of the earth, so that if a man can number the dust of the earth, then shall thy seed also be numbered." We understand that. That was when the Lord was speaking to Abraham, our forefather Abraham. You see, but the nation of Yasha'Allah, can be likened to the sand of the sea, the dust of the earth, because it's a lot. If you was to take the sand of the sea, even if you was to put it in your hand, you can't count how many particles of sand. You can't count the dust. On the earth. Even if you take the dust, like if you had like a ceiling fan, you can't count all those particles of dust. That's pretty much how it is for us. We will be the majority, because Israel was scattered across all the nations.
Exactly. Hey, and that's another point. You have Israelites, what's it called? The Israelite foreigners, right? You got Israelites looking like these other nations. You got some of these so-called Edomites, so-called white people that are actually Jake.
Right.
You got some of these so-called Chinese that are actually Jake, right? So, hey, Jake is scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, and intermingled amongst these other nations. So, of course, hey, Jake is really the majority on the earth.
Right.
But let's continue on this article. It says, what comes to mind when you think of the top causes of death in the U.S.? Many people's thoughts immediately turn to killers like heart disease and cancer. But it turns out that the number 4 spot actually goes to abortions carried out by Planned Parenthood. It says the nation's biggest abortion provider reported performing more than 392,000 abortions between October 1st, 2021 and September 30th, 2022. And in its 2022-2023 annual report, which amounts to killing 44 babies every hour. Right. So this is another way that Esau is actually killing its people, but mainly killing y'all Jakes. But it says according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, more than 695 people died from heart disease in the U.S. going into all that nasty food y'all people be eating, fast food, right? GMO foods that Esau be putting in these grocery stores, processed foods, all you name it, man. Hey, I just talked to my father the other day, and he was telling me that whenever he eats food from Mexico, when he goes to Mexico, because he be going back and forth, and when he goes to Mexico, he says when he eats, he eats and he feels a lot better when he eats over there. But whenever he
Mm-hmm.
comes here to America, the food here, he says that it makes him constipated. He can't, his stool comes out looking hard, or just it's hard to come out. It makes him
Right.
feel sick, makes him feel weak. You know, hey, and that just goes to show you that hey, this American government is killing y'all people off, man.
I got a couple. I got
Con,
if I can.
you got it, Doc.
This is uh this is it's a lot. Let me get it. This is Jeremiah chapter. You know the scripture where it says the right here. This is Ezekiel chapter 4 and verse 13. It says, "And the Lord said, Even thus shall the children of Yasharallah eat their bread, eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whither I will drive them." And that's chiefly in America, Babylon the Great, you see, and also the rest of the world, but chiefly here in America, again, to reiterate, the food is messed up all over the earth, but the food is very messed up in America. If you go to like Mexico, if you used to go to like Canada, you
Mm-hmm.
know, also in the UK. I spoke to somebody in the world, and they pretty much was like, yeah, the food over there in the UK, the portions are a lot smaller. So people
Mm-hmm.
are a lot more healthy in the UK. When you come to America, the food is so defiled, and it's so bad for you that it gives you all types of different ailments and stuff like that, like you going into. And
Mm-hmm.
I also want to get this. This is Matthew Mathathia chapter 12 and verse 25. It says, "And Yahweh Shah knew their thoughts." So it says, "And Yahweh knew their thoughts and said unto them, Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. If Shaitan cast out Shaitan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? And if by Beelzebub cast out devils, so like, and if I by Beelzebub cast out devils, by whom do your children cast them out? Therefore shall your therefore shall they be your judges. But if I cast out devils by the Spirit of the Most High, then the kingdom of the Most High has come unto you. Or else, how can one enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he first bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house? Now, the point I
Mm-hmm.
pretty much wanted to get out of that was, Esau has done his job of, being a good devil and taking the man out of the house. You see, in doing so, um, the woman is left to her own ideologies, and pretty
Mm-hmm.
much she'll subscribe to doing things like this,
Mm-hmm.
and which this is nothing but another ploy to divide and conquer, you know,
Con.
because it like what Esau uses he uses same gender marriages as a form of population control, and this is just another form of population control to divide and conquer,
Con. Hey, exactly how Esau went to Eve in the garden, or Salakia, the serpent. Well, it's the same thing, right? Esau went to Eve in the garden, right, and seduced her because she was the weaker vessel. The same way Esau is doing the same thing now, man. Right. So this is I want to get something real quick. This says
so like if I could add too,
mm-hmm.
he's doing the same thing now because if you look at the which ain't mean to call for your wisdom, but he
No, you
doing the
good.
same. He doing the same thing now, and he feel like okay, well, you don't have no children in this society, so to speak. But he has Planned Parenthood, trying to make it seem as if you're doing a like a just deed or something like, or you're planning it, But pretty much he's offering these different females the freedom, to pretty much run around gadding abroad, going
Mm-hmm.
from dude to dude, you know. And that's that. Going back to what you said inside the garden, pretty much he thrived off that witchcraft, which is it's a play on words, Planned Parenthood.
Mm-hmm. I got something real quick. This is Sirach or Ecclesiasticus 25 and 24. It says, "Of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die." So
Mm-hmm.
just to back up, the point that I made and what the brother said, right? Through really it was through Eve, right? A the serpent came and seduced Eve, tricked Eve, and this is the reason why we're in the condition that we're in. It all started with the woman, right? Again, because she's the weaker vessel, and that's the same way, the same manner that Esau is able to push all this, right? He tied up that strong man, right, and then went for Eve, and then is going for your children, and that's why we're in this fucked up state, man. Because Esau is in that power seat. Esau is Esau was allowed this or permitted this time to rule, right? And we see how he's ruling. He's ruling in wickedness. But let's see. Let's continue on a little bit more in this article. Well, actually, matter of fact, let me get this real quick. This is Proverbs 4:16. It says, talking about Esau, right? It says, "For they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away, unless they cause some to fall." So, hey, Esau can't go to sleep, man, unless he, you know, put someone to death. Unless something that he does, some of his schemes, his plots, right, his agenda, is cutting down the numbers of the sheep, of the sheeple, right? And we see that happening through these various means, right? What's that one precept that goes along the lines of it is in their power, you know.
Um,
Let me see. Let me see if I can pull
probably
it up.
Micah 2:2 and 1.
Come on, let me see.
MICH or MICAH.
Also like you, Micah 2. Khan, yep. This is a woe unto them that divides iniquity. So like you, Micah 2:1. Woe to them that divides iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. Exactly, man. Hey, Esau has the power now. So anything that Esau, all these wicked ideas that Esau's thinking up of, hey, he's pushing it and he's doing it because it is in their power. Same thing with the MOTB, right? You know, the priest, he sent that video to us, right? It shows them put opening, drilling a hole in their head and putting that thing inside their brain. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
that's some fucking bugged out shit. But Esau is pushing this shit like it's normal, and it's all because he has that power in his hand, right?
I'm gonna go to verse 2. It
God.
say, and they covet fields, and how did he, pretty much get America, through manifest destiny. They wanted,
Hmm.
land, that wasn't there, so they took about unjust gain, unjust means. So it
Hmm.
says, and they covet fields, and they take them by violence. Pretty much, because that's he thrived by the sword. It says in houses and take them away. Pretty much going into a house can be a literal house and then also like a lineage. It says and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. Hey, that's another form of oppressing a man in his house and a man in his heritage. By pretty much dividing the household. Giving the woman
Hmm.
the freedom of
Hmm.
choice, so to speak. I got another precept, if I can.
God, God, you got it up.
This is Ayawab Job chapter 39, and let me get verse 17. It says, because the Most High hath deprived her of wisdom, neither hath he imparted her to her understanding. You see, and Esau understands that. That's why the scripture calls him a cunning hunter.
Hmm.
Because essentially he understands the nature of the woman. He understands that, hey, she loves freedom. You
Hmm.
give her the power of choice. And she essentially gonna destroy the nation for you.
Hmm.
So essentially Esau's just playing on the minds of these stupid ass women. Because they don't have a
God,
head.
God, hey, beautifully said. But it says, continuing on a little bit more into this article, it says, according to the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, more than 695,000 people died from heart disease in the U.S. in 2021, while 605 died from cancer. 416,000 are said to have died from C19. Hey, just to show you, hey, and really it's Esau, that created that anyway. But anyway, it says just shy of 225,000 died from accidents, right? Let me read a little bit more. It says, as upsetting as it may be to think that almost 400,000 babies never got a chance to never got a chance at life thanks to this organization, right? And this organization is backed by Esau. Esau created this, right? But it says that figure shouldn't be too surprising when you consider the fact that they recommended abortion to pregnant clients 97% of the time instead of suggesting alternatives such as adoption or supporting them in keeping their child, right? Hey, because that all goes back to Esau being in the spirit of Pharaoh, right? Being in the spirit of Herod, as we're gonna get. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and jump into that. Exodus 1 and 8. Let's see.
If I get a quick one,
Come on, you got it, Doc.
this is Waya Quara, Leviticus chapter 18 and verse 21. It says, "And thou shalt not let any of thy seed pass through the fire to Molech, neither shalt thou profane the name of thy power. I am the Lord." That's essentially a form of allowing a seed to pass through a fire to be destroyed. Because they say they got certain parameters they do with the A word or the deletion of children, like
Mm-hmm.
within a certain month. But how these women are doing it, how Esau does it is like they got to be a certain age, so they actually, regardless of however old they are, it's off. And it's actually going to sacrificing to an idol, Molech. I want to get this in the NLT though.
Mm-hmm.
NLT, it says, "Do not permit any of your children to be offered as a sacrifice to Molech, for you must not bring shame on my so like, you must not bring shame on the name of your power. I am the Lord." And that shames the Lord, you see, because the scriptures say, to be fruitful and multiply. That was a commandment given to us. So by doing that, essentially, that's bringing shame to the Lord.
Mm-hmm. Con. Let me see. Let's get that Exodus 1 and 8. Start at verse. Yeah, we start at verse 8. It says, "Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, Behold, the people of the children of Israel are more mightier than we. Come, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply. So let us come up against them. Let us come up with a scheme, right, to come up against them." It says,
Planned
let's
Parenthood.
right, Planned Parenthood. That's right. It says, "Lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land." Right, and that's the same mindset that Esau's in right now, right? Especially since the word is out here. Hey, the less Jake for them is the less Jake, the less amount of Jakes here in America, the better for them, right? Especially Jakes that's not awakened to the truth. That's the reason why they constantly push a bunch of nonsense and a bunch of these false prophets out here to try to steer people from the right path. But it says, therefore, as a matter of fact, yeah, I'll just keep on reading. It says, "Therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens, as they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses."
Hey, shit. Jake built everything over here. Pretty much
Right.
Esau. He look at what worked in these different societies, and he like, fuck it, I'm gonna do the same thing. So
Mm-hmm.
Jake built all these thriving societies. If you look at what they call the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, pretty much
Mm,
Jake built that.
mm. Con, because you had first it was who was it? It was Southern Kingdom that built up, and then now who is it? Issachar, right? Northern Kingdom is coming
Hmm.
through the borders and building up America.
Right.
But verse 12 it says, "But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew." Hey,
Cause
hey,
my bad.
it's like you got it.
I'm finna say it's already in our spirit. Jake
Mhm.
just multiplies. Jake have a lot of kids.
Jake's very fertile.
Right.
It says, "And they were grieved because of the children of Israel." That's right. It says, "And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor." And how
Right.
they doing that? How they
My
doing
bad.
that now? Right, through raising up the prices of things.
Hmm.
Making it hard for you to make a living, man. Like
Right. And
nowadays, hey, your modern paycheck. Salakia, brother. Uh, I was just gonna make my point real quick.
yeah,
It
you got.
says nowadays, you know, the average paycheck that a man gets is not enough to sustain their family, man. It's barely enough to sustain yourself, if that.
Mhm.
So hey, that's how Esau is making it harder for people, harder for us. You got it, Doc.
No, that's pretty much what I was gonna say.
Okay, con. But it says, verse 14, it says, and they made their lives bitter with hard bondage in mortar and in brick and in all manner of service in the field. All their service wherein they made them serve was with rigor. It says, and the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of the one was uh, Shiphrah, and the name of the other Puah. And he said, when ye do the office of a midwife in the to the Hebrew woman, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then ye shall kill him. But if it be a daughter, then she shall live. So this is the
Hmm.
same thing as a Planned Parenthood, right? The exact same thing, and they push it, in the minds of these women to pretty much kill the son. The woman is regarded in a high esteem here in America, right? So when a woman has like a daughter, you know, they're more likely to keep the daughter than the son. But it says here in verse 17, but the midwives feared the Most High and did not as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the men, children alive.
Hmm.
Um, it says, verse 18, and the king of Egypt called for the midwives and said unto them, why have ye done this thing, and saved the men, children alive? And the midwife said unto Pharaoh, because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women, for they are lively, and are delivered ere the midwives come into them. It
Can you get the
says,
word for lively?
Khan, real quick for the word for lively, it says, where's it at? Right here.
It says chayawath. You scroll down, Baba Kusha.
Khan.
You keep going. Right there, it says Hebrew women in childbirth bearing quickly, easily. So pretty much fertile.
Mm.
That's pretty much what they were saying. Like lively, like they popping them out.
Khan.
Yeah.
Let's just go back. It says, where was that? Verse 20. It says, therefore the Most High dealt well with the midwives, and the people multiplied and waxed very mightily, or very mighty, right, man? Because even though Esau has this plant parenthood in place, we still see a Jake is still coming out, man.
Hmm.
Hey, Jake is growing in numbers. We're seeing Esau, pretty much waning in numbers. They're pretty much reducing the numbers. That's the reason why they had to remove that whole what's it called, the Roe versus Wade shit they had
Hmm.
in court, because hey, really these curses are turning back, are pretty much backfiring upon Esau. So it
Yep.
says, well, all these ideas that Esau was coming up with, they're backfiring against them. Same thing with the whole uh, fentanyl crisis, right? They call it a crisis now because Esau is the one that's suffering through this. Or no, it's a opioid crisis, but really fentanyl too. But verse 21, it says, and it came to pass because the midwives feared the Most High, he made them houses, and Pharaoh charged all his people, saying, every son that is born ye shall cast into the river, and every daughter ye shall save alive. So that's pretty much the point, right? So let me get this other article. This is from AmericanSurveyCenter.org. It says abortion, race, and ethnicity. So it says, in the wake of the Dobbs decision overturning Roe versus Wade, significant attention has been given to the abortion views of men and women of various age groups. It says less notice has been paid to the similarities and differences of racial and ethnic groups. According to the Guttmacher Institute, women of color have significantly higher rates of unintended pregnancies and abortions than white women. You see, that's talking about you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans.
Hmm.
You Northern and Southern Kingdom tribes, right? It
And
says,
let's say higher rates of unintended pregnancies, which is kind of like a play on words as well, because
mhm,
I mean it's already in Jake's spirit, to pretty much just multiply. A
right,
lot of times Esau, that's not his spirit. That's why he got a planet. He pretty
right,
much Esau. They don't have kids like that.
right, right. that That's true. He's always trying to plan things, you know, and a lot of them they just do it just to multiply. They,
Mm-hmm.
they don't really do it because it's in their spirit. You
Right.
know, but it says the black abortion rate is highest, followed by Hispanics. This is and whites, right? Because like I said, now Esau is starting to feel those curses, right?
Mm-hmm.
Esau now all these plans that Esau set up to really affect you Jakes now is backfiring upon him. But it says the August American Perspective Survey shows that blacks are more likely than Hispanics and whites to champion reproductive rights. It says the political contours of the issue, however, are less clear. But that's just because Esau be pushing this shit upon Eve, right? And really, ultimately, you know, Eve has always been susceptible to Esau, man, to Esau's enchantments. You know, same thing with pretty much all Jake women, right? And also, there was a point I wanted to make. Uh, I lost it, Salakia. But anyway, let me continue on reading. It says the political contours of the issue, however, are less clear. It says in the August APS, black people were about 10 percentage points more likely, 44%, than Hispanics, which are at 33%. So combine those two, 44 plus 33%. That's what? 77%.
Mm-hmm.
It says or whites, 34%. So Esau makes up the rest, right? But that's 77% of you Jakes that's going to these damn Planned Parenthoods, Planned Parenthood locations and end up getting your children aborted, right? Showing you that this thing was targeted for y'all to reduce y'all's numbers, right? For Esau to have control of y'all. But it says and I guess 34% is too much for Esau. Esau is already not producing that amount. They don't have big families like Jake does,
Right.
right? They have like one or two children at the most. But you see, Issachar having damn fucking 10 to 12 kids. Even amongst Jake, Jake be having a, a Judah, right? Even though Judah, they be having, multiple wives, right? But they be having
Mm-hmm.
like 2, 3 kids by each wife. But it says to say abortion should be legal under any circumstances among those who respond that abortion should be legal under certain circumstances. Black people 42% were more likely than Hispanic 34%, or whites 38% to say that it should be legal most of the time. It says black people 45% were also more likely than Hispanics 37%, or whites 41% to say the label pro-choice describes them very well. So that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the point, right? So let's go to what was it? Matthew,
Matthew 12.
what was it? Matthew 12, right? No,
You talking
Matthew
about one I
2.
got?
Matthew 2 and 16. Salakia. Matthew chapter 2 and verse 16. Going into whenever Herod tried to find the Messiah, right? Try to figure out where he was. This is Matthew 2 and 16. It says, then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men, was exceedingly wroth, right? Because when you go to the back to a little backstory, you know, pretty much the three wise men were supposed to return back and tell Herod the location of Yahushua, but they never came back. So that's why he felt like he was mocked. So of course he was mad. But it says, and sent forth and slew all the children that were in Bethlehem. Doing the same thing as Pharaoh. Even though Herod is an Edomite, but he's doing the same thing as Pharaoh, right? It says, and in all the coasts thereof, from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had diligently inquired of the wise men. Then was fulfilled which was spoken by Jeremiah the prophet, saying, in Ramah was there a voice heard, lamentation and weeping and great mourning, Rachel weeping for her children, and will not be comforted because they are not. Right. And that's the same thing that's happening now. The only difference is that, you Jake women are willingly going up to these places and giving up your children. Hey, and that's part of the curses as well. Let's get that in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 56, and it reads, "The ten. This is one of the curses, right? It says, the tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, her eye shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom." And that's what we see now.
Mm-hmm.
Like the brother mentioned earlier, right? Uh, the strong man was bound, and then Esau was able to go in there and infiltrate and pretty much warp the mind of the woman. And it says, and toward her son, and toward her daughter, and toward her young one that cometh out from between her feet. Hey, we see a lot of, especially nowadays, right? We see a lot of Jake women offing their own kids, killing them off, throwing them in the trash, doing all kinds of shit like that. Now you have this thing, right? The Planned Parenthood, right? It says, and toward her children, which she shall bear, going to these Planned Parenthood programs, killing them off, right? Because we already know what Esau does with those little with those fetuses. They be. You mean we already know? There's no point in even saying it here.
Right.
But it says, "For she shall eat them for want of all things, secretly in the siege and straitness." Hey, so if they're doing this now, we can see how. Hey, we can see it. We can see how, um, in the time of Jacob's trouble, we're gonna see these women start eating their kids. It says, "Wherein thy enemy shall distress thee at the gates." That's during the time of Jacob's trouble. Of course, this happened before, right? During 70 AD, right? And various other times. But this is going to happen again when Esau, pretty much as the scripture says, comes towards us as a flood, right? Roughly paraphrasing. Let me see. Let's get another one. Let's get Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 32 and verse 9. It says, rise up, ye women that are at ease. Hear my voice, ye careless daughters. Give ear unto my speech. Many days and years ye shall be troubled, ye careless women. For the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come. Hey, so hey, that time of trouble is coming near upon y'all women, man. Y'all women who are doing these killing off y'all's children, right? Being wicked as all hell, you know, siding with the enemy instead of siding with your husband. But oh yeah, and I remember now the point I was trying to make earlier, right? Now it's at the point where the government, right, and Esau is really the husband.
Mm-hmm.
Really, you Jakes, y'all ain't really the husband. Y'all have really no say so when it comes to in the household now.
Right.
These women are now using now take on the government as their husband.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they can easily just leave you and move on to the next man. Mainly because this government has allowed them to live at ease, be careless, pretty much do whatever they want,
Yeah,
right?
precept.
Con, you got it, Doc.
So Jeremiah 31:22 it says, how long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? For the Lord hath created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man. And like you said, pretty much Eve is able to, have a full rod, scholarship because she's married to Esau. She pretty much in Esau back pocket, so she's been able to pretty much compass the man, to where she has to say so, the man is out of the picture now, pretty much her she's pretty much saying Esau is pretty much her man.
Mm-hmm. Con, I got a quick one. It's probably my last one, unless you have something else, so I could probably close it. But this is Sirach chapter 10 and verse 2. It says, "As a judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein." That's right. So that same mindset of that Edomite mindset is upon the whole world, is upon mainly here in America, all you Americans, all you Jakes, right? And that's the reason why, we're starting to see all these Edomite characteristics that we back then in the 70s and 80s, we will only see amongst Esau. You know, these Edomite women killing off their babies, you know, killing off, poisoning their husbands, doing shit like that. Now we're seeing, hey, y'all Jake women doing this shit, but not just you Jake women, also you Jake men doing wicked ass shit like Esau, man. All because wow, y'all have taken on, like the script, like Yahweh Shah said, ye are as your father the devil, right? And the lust of your father ye will do. Now y'all have became just like y'all pretty much just uh 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 Israelite Edomites, right? But this is all, the part of the curses, right? That these things will happen to our people, right? All by the hands of our enemy. Just showing you that Esau is your enemy. That's what the scriptures tell you. Never trust thine enemy. Even though he's pushing all these things, making it seem good onto you, which I still don't understand how, that just shows you pretty much how fucked up the minds of our people are, how warped they are, you know, to go off and kill off your own children. But it is what it is. But Esau pushes his things upon our people, making it seem like it's good and there's nothing wrong with it. But all the time, hey, he's pulling you away more further and further away from your power. But that was pretty much all I had. Unless you had something else.
I got one more. This is Yashaya, Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 6. It says, "From the sole of the foot even unto the head there is no soundness in it, but wounds and bruises and putrefying sores, they have not been closed, neither bound up, neither mollified with ointment." So pretty much the whole nation is destroyed for the most part, other than the elect.
Mm-hmm.
And what's crazy about it is too, a lot of Eves, they go down to get that procedure done, and they ultimately feel cut in the spirit each time, or how many times they do it, but they keep doing it. That's ultimately because they're destroyed in the mind.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much why the Lord has to destroy 2/3.
The scriptures tell us in Second Ezra, the ninth chapter, right? They shall know it through death by pain.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only solution for them, right? That's the only remedy for 2/3 because they ain't gonna get it on this side. Even though as much as you try to, proclaim it and prove to them how wrong it is, they just ain't gonna get it. But you know, we pray this lesson was edifying. We'll go ahead and close it out by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who taught us his truth and rule well. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect pushing his word throughout the four corners of the earth in truth, righteousness, and sincerity. Until the next time, we're going to say Shalom.